Julianna Carella is a trailblazing entrepreneur. She is a dog mom, and she is the force behind not one, but two multi-million-dollar companies, Auntie Dolores and Treatibles. She has been working at the forefront of medical cannabis and CBD since 2008, and she joins us now from Nashville, Tennessee. Julianna, thanks so much for making the time today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, how are you? How's it going in Nashville?
It's great. It's hot.
Oh, that's for sure. I know it's summertime. Dog days of summer here, right? Let's go ahead and start in the beginning. Tell us when you first fell in love with dogs.
Well, when I was growing up, we didn't have pets. My parents didn't really want to have pets around. We had one dog named Sugar that a neighbor had given us, and we kept her for about a year, and then my parents gave her back because they didn't like having a dog, and that broke my heart. So I vowed in that moment to have as many dogs as I possibly could the minute I became an adult.
There you go. I love that. It's like, I know what I'm going to do. Hey, Mom, will you watch my 5 dogs for me? Remember that time you said I couldn't have Sugar? Seriously. So you're a dog mom now, and obviously you love them. How did you figure out that CBD actually works for dogs?
Well, it was kind of an accident, actually, because the first company that I started in 2008, Auntie Dolores, was a medical cannabis company. This is before we were even familiar with CBD. We were dealing with THC mostly. All of the cultivation that we were doing was to extract the THC and make products from it. And THC products are obviously not suitable for pets. So when we became familiar with CBD in 2011, I immediately started thinking, okay, if this is a non-psychoactive cannabinoid and it has, benefits for arthritis, anxiety, epilepsy, I was thinking, why don't we use this for dogs and cats? And we actually were extracting, THC from cannabis plants at the time. So we started to cultivate CBD-rich cannabis plants so that we could do the same thing, but extract the CBD. And then we started to develop the pet products. And the minute we started giving them to our pets, we saw incredible results, and with very low toxicity, no side effects, no nothing. It was all positive. So that was a huge light bulb, that went off. And the minute we started really developing more and more products, it just caught on like wildfire. At the time, we were only dealing with cannabis dispensaries, and they were happy to take in a pet product. It was totally new and cutting edge at the time. We're actually the very first company to produce CBD pet products because of our history in the cannabis space. It really just accidentally kind of led us into it. That's kind of the best way I could answer that question. It was really by accident, actually.
So interesting. It's amazing, like the journey life can take us on, that's for sure. This can be a little controversial. So I like you because you like to shoot from the hip. You're like an honest gal, which is so cool. Just talk to me about some of the pushback, that you experienced, some of the reactions out there.
Yeah.
I imagine that was challenging at first.
Absolutely. I mean, there's just so much negative stigma around cannabis and hemp in general. So there's always a lot to get past to educate folks. Okay. So that was a big deal. When we started to talk to, pet industry people about our product, we'd already been producing products for 2 years and selling it into dispensaries, but the pet world was like, what are you guys doing? You're giving your pets pot? I mean, come on, what are you going to do? You're going to kill them all. And we're like, no, you don't understand.
No.
So it took about 2 or 3 years to educate people on why it was good and not bad, and the difference between CBD and THC, and why we're making the pet products with just CBD. And there was a lot of pushback, but once people see the product in action, you can't unsee it,
There you go. Talk to us, since you mentioned the difference. Some dog moms may be watching and they really don't know. So walk us through the difference, educate our viewers.
Okay. So the cannabis plant has high levels of THC, great for humans who want to get high and to help with pain, right? But for pets, THC can be very toxic. It can actually cause static ataxia and a host of other problems that can be deadly to our pets. Now, that being said, there are some instances where THC is appropriate for our pets, but that's like another podcast, and it has to do with cancer.
Whole other conversation.
Yeah. Right. So we'll just talk about like, your everyday pets and why CBD is really good for them. So all animals, including humans, have an endocannabinoid system, which is a receptor system within our physiology. And that system directly affects other systems within our physiology, including the nervous system, right? Including, our joints and all of these other mechanisms in our systems. And it's the same with our pets. So when an animal takes in a CBD product, what it does is it is sort of ignited by that interaction in the endocannabinoid system. And it literally just sets everything back in order, right? When you see an animal that has high anxiety or epilepsy or any of these nervous system disorders, that's an indication that their endocannabinoid system needs to be addressed. So literally what we're doing when we give a CBD product to a pet that needs it, we are going to the very, very root of the problem. It's not a superficial, treatment or regimen. This is something that actually changes them at a very basic level, and it affects all these other systems. So that's why the results are so phenomenal. I mean, when you see an animal that's limping around from arthritis, you give them CBD and they're running around a half hour later, literally.
Sure. Or a dog that's struggling with anxiety and aggression. And suddenly you have a tool that you can try, because when we commit to our pets, we want a good outcome. We want to take our commitments seriously. Talk to me about, we've had some vets on our show who are really outspoken about being against CBD. So where is this coming from your standpoint?
There's so much misinformation out there, like everything else right now. We're dealing with a lot of disinformation and misinformation. I mean, that's another podcast, right?
Right.
In this particular topic, you've got a lot of folks that are still dealing with this 100-year-old stigma against cannabis, which also is against hemp. So if you think about it, a lot of doctors and veterinarians, they're not taught about the endocannabinoid system. I mean, it's part of our physiology, and yet they don't really know anything about it because it's excluded from the medical literature. Like literally, it's almost like we're going to take this whole body of evidence and just throw it out because we don't like it. Well, guess what? Our pets love it and they need it, and God gave it to us. So why aren't we using it?
There we go.
My feeling about it is I don't really need, the medical industry to tell me when I'm giving something to my pet that makes them feel better. I just need my own two eyes. Right?
Sure. Tell me, Julianna, how often are there negative reactions? I think that's really important to point out, because I know you've done just so much research, and obviously you're so knowledgeable about this.
Well, this is where it gets even more exciting, because the National Animal Supplement Council did a ton of research on this. And by the way, because we're NASC members, we have to report to their adverse events reporting system every month. Okay. All of the CBD pet companies out there that are NASC certified also have to do the same. So they compiled a lot of data, and I'm just going to share some numbers with you. And
please do. I love this.
The numbers speak for themselves. Okay. 920 million administrations of CBD products to pets. That means every time a pet got a CBD product, that was one administration. So there's been over 920 million administrations of CBD pet products in the last 14 years. Guess how many adverse events there were?
How many?
Less than 25.
Wow.
That's a safety level that's surpasses anything else out there that you can give your pet or your human friends. I mean, it's crazy how safe it is. And, the scientist, Raphael Mechoulam, who's researched CBD more than anybody in the whole world, unfortunately, he's passed. But, when he was alive, one of the quotes he said was, CBD is the safest chemical I've ever researched.
Yeah. That's a statement. That's a bold statement.
It really is. And again, all you have to do is see it in action, and people will see for themselves. But when you've got something that has so much negative stigma that colors the whole picture, we have to spend so much time educating people so that they can just get past that to see for themselves. and to look at the data. And now we actually have some data to support what we already knew.
Yes. And I really appreciate you sharing that with us. I mean, those numbers are pretty impressive. Tell us about some of your best-selling products.
Well, our best-selling product is still our turkey hard chews. The dogs love it. Our hard chews are our best sellers in general. I've never given one to a dog that rejected it.
Sure.
We like making products that animals love tasting and eating, so that we don't have to struggle with them to give them that regimen that they need every day. And all of our products sell really well, but some obviously more than others. We always tell folks, don't get hung up on which product to get, because the active ingredient is the same in all of our products. The potency might be a little bit different. We've got stronger products for those pets that need it. But really what we tell folks is base the opinion of your pet. Like, what does your pet like? And then choose the product, because your pet might like a hard biscuit over a soft chew, or it might be easier to put the dropper oil in their food. It really doesn't matter how you get it into your pet system, just get it into their system.
There you go. That's great advice. This has been such a huge success, Treatibles, and you've taken this international. Walk us through that process of what it was like going global.
Well, it was interesting because about 5 years ago at a trade show, we were visited by some Japanese distributors that were actually researching CBD for pets and wanted to bring back a lot of products to Japan and actually go into research and see, which products they wanted to import. So our distributors that we've been working with for many years now in Japan actually at that time had taken back about a dozen different brands to test out, and they settled on us and one other brand. So that was really exciting that they chose our brand. And it's been really awesome to sell the product in Japan as well. Now, they're about 5 to 10 years behind us in terms of like the industry and the growth of it. So it's kind of like we had to go back to square one, lots of education, and then you've got to translate the documents so that the public in Japan can understand how these products work. So it's a process, and it's kind of a long process to get that education level to where it becomes the norm, and then everybody's ordering it for their pets.
Yeah, I'm sure it just takes a lot of determination, a lot of persistence, and a lot of patience. You're an innovator. You're obviously a uber successful entrepreneur. We have some dog moms watching. They're entrepreneurs as well. What is your advice for dog moms who are getting started and following their dreams right now and have goals and a vision for something, but they're starting from scratch? What are some of your goals? Or your advice for them?
I'm going to get a little spiritual here, because I feel like business is a way. It's not only a way for us to grow our businesses, but we also grow personally through business, And you just can't give up. You just can't. It's like anything else in life. If you don't give up, then you don't lose, right? You just got to keep going. And we've had incredible challenges over the years. Like, you wouldn't believe some of the challenges that we have. We get through the challenges every day, and we just keep going, because at the end of the day, we still get amazing reviews from customers. And when we read those reviews, it makes all the other stuff that's challenging totally worth it,
That's fantastic. And that grit and that endurance, which produces character, right? You've got to be tough. You've got to be tough if you're an entrepreneur, but also when you're fueled by your passion and your purpose, I imagine that makes all the difference. You're such a joy to talk with, Julianna. I love it. How can our dog moms keep tabs on what's going on with Treatibles? What is the best way for them to stay informed?
That's a great question. We are really big on social media. We love sharing all kinds of fun stuff over social media. So, you can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of the usuals. Another great way to just get general education is sign up for our newsletter. We have incredible content and stories to share, and just all kinds of fun stuff for our Treat-a pets. We call our customers Treat-a pals, and then our employees are Treat-a pets, and everybody gets a fun name, and then they get on our email list and they get all the cool content that we share with them.
Really awesome. Julianna Carella, thank you so much for your time and for all the helpful information and sage wisdom. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me.
Thanks so much for watching this Dog Mom News clip. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more awesome and informative Dog Mom News content. And while you're at it, ring the bell so that you can find out about more content in real time. And be sure to join us Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our live show. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, everyone.